listeners, to the third episode of Indivisible Plymouth's podcast, The Participation Project. And I'm your host for today, Priscilla Anderson. And with me is the Executive Director of Pilgrim Watch, the nonprofit organization, been in existence over 30 years that serves the public interest on health and safety issues related to the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Station. Welcome to our little podcast, Mary Lampert.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm so thrilled that you agreed to come on. Being new to Plymouth just in the last couple of years, I'm finding myself becoming more and more interested in this topic and trying to learn as much as I can about it. And I'm just going to touch on a few of the bullet points that I pulled out of your CV just to let people know some of your past experience, because you have got to be a smart lady to have done all the things that you have been doing over the past 30 some odd years.
You could add tired to smart.
That's very good. I like that. I can see why. So you've represented the public through Pilgrim Watch in litigation in front of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC. You have been involved in and were even invited to contribute to the NRC's attempts to address public concerns and represent the public on issues like the spent fuel licensing and enforcement of regulations. You have been involved in drafting state legislation related to the decommissioning process and serve on several state and even international boards and panels regarding the safety of nuclear power. Is that all?
And I'm the chief cook and bottle washer in my house.
I love it. Hey, somebody's got to do it. But I mean, you're my hero. Like, look at all these amazing things that you've been doing, and you're holding down the fort. Like, girl power. That's what I say. So I'm really thankful and excited to have you here. Could you give me a brief history of the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant and like when and how and why Pilgrim Watch came into being?
Yes. The power plant went online in 1972. Mm-hmm. Something that it really should never have done, because members of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission panels looked at the design, and some said it should never go online because it didn't have a strong enough containment. However, the companies that made the power plant, that particular design, put pressure on, and the warnings were not heeded.
So the company that made the reactor was GE?
GE, yes.
And it's a Mark I reactor.
Yeah, Mark I boiling water reactor. And the issue of not having a strong enough containment was demonstrated in Fukushima.
Yes.
Because those reactors are the exact same design, and 3 blew up.
2011, Fukushima, Japan.
Right.
The horrible, devastating earthquake and resulting tsunami.
Yeah, it was but the real issue was the tsunami meant loss of offsite power. And without offsite power, which seems an odd statement,
it does,
because they generate power.
It seems like an
but
oxymoron.
They are dependent on offsite power to operate their safety systems.
So that means Pilgrim was dependent on offsite power as well.
Correct.
To operate their safety systems.
Yeah, which really means that type of reactor is really not suited at all for climate change.
How so?
Well, because in climate change, you have extreme weather events, hurricanes, strong winds, rising seas, and all those natural events are counter to providing reliable, dependable, minute-by-minute offsite power.
Okay. So theoretically, we're losing power a lot more often in our homes because of these more severe weather events that we've been having.
Correct.
Winter and summer.
Which is, we're sort of going all over the place, which is one of the many reasons that I do not believe that nuclear is the answer going forward to our energy needs. That's one of I could give you a good 10 reasons.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
And so anyway, Pilgrim opened with bad fuel and not having its off-site filtration system, which was a very bad combination. It was operating, let's say if you want to think about it, with their fuel rods capable of leaking all the dangerous radionuclides outside. And then without a filtration system, they went outside into the atmosphere.
In the air or the ground?
Both.
Okay, at that point, and this was years and years ago.
This was during the 70s.
70s.
And then in 82, after they got their filtration system in 1977, then they blew their filters in 82. And there were suited people from the government and the state going all over Plymouth, going to Duxbury, going over the Cape Cod.
Taking samples?
Taking samples. I have distributed the environmental report Pilgrim always had to make each year.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that the cesium-137, the plutonium, a lot of bad guys, if you will, were either 10,000 or 1,000,000 times more than expected.
Oh, my.
And as a result of that, the state had recognized by looking at hospital records that there were very high radiation-linked diseases.
Mm-hmm. Based on proximity to
proximity.
all of the nuclear power plants in New England.
Well, this was a later one. It was a particular study of Pilgrim.
Okay.
What were the health effects here? And you saw a fourfold increase in a case-controlled study done by the state in adult leukemia the closer you lived or worked at Pilgrim.
Wow.
And that encompassed not only Plymouth, but Kingston, Duxbury. I mean, my house is 6 miles across open water to the power plant, then up to Marshfield and Scituate. And so that was a study done and published in 1990. Since then, the Mass Cancer Registry, I have gone through the documents there, and the Cancer Registry up to today, actually it's up to 2021 is the last report, shows, again, Plymouth has the highest cancer rates in the state of Massachusetts. And also you see significance or above normal in the radiation-linked diseases, such as leukemia, such as thyroid, multiple myeloma, lung cancer, breast cancer. Yeah, you can go right to it. I can email it to you.
Yeah.
The link so you can see. And you also see the same footprint of radiation-linked diseases in communities that are downwind. And there were not many studies done since, and the reason being politics, not science.
Mm-hmm.
You know, governments being too close to the industries.
So I was reading that early on, when the power plant was very young, one of their own high-ranking safety officers did sort of sound the alarm and said that he recommended not moving forward with it because he knew that it wasn't going to be safe if the integrity was challenged by some weather event or bombing or something like that. And the company, which at the time was GE, said, well, we're moving forward anyway, and if we didn't do it, then that would be the end of nuclear power forever. And, of course, none of them wanted that to happen because I'm assuming there was a lot of money to be made.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the old movie line, follow the money.
Yep.
But anyway, just like when you buy a car or any mechanical product, in the beginning of its operations, you run into problems. Then everything smooths out. Mm-hmm. Then at the end of the life of
the car,
whatever it is, the car, the microwave, or a nuclear power plant, then you start running into problems. And we saw that with Pilgrim in, I'd say, starting seriously in 2011, 2012.
Which is right around the Fukushima time.
Because At that time, they were not making money; they were losing money
How did they
because
lose
we
money?
had natural gas, and natural gas was a lot cheaper.
Cheaper.
And actually, nuclear power is actually the most expensive way to boil water. And so they had natural gas. They were losing money year after year after year. And that was the exact time that they were in the wear-out stage. And they needed to make serious investments into new parts. As a result, they didn't do it. And Pilgrim fell and remained in the bottom 3 of nuclear reactors in our country,
Safety-wise.
safety-wise.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and that was ranked by the industry-friendly Nuclear Regulatory Commission, put them down as one of the most dangerous power plants in the country.
Oh, wow. Do
And
you know
so-
what the other 2 were?
Uh,
Top of your head?
how have I forgotten?
Just wondering if any of the other ones are near us, like Seabrook or...
I'm trying to think. I think one was Fitzpatrick in upstate New York, and the other could have well been in New Jersey. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well...
But anyway, that was the story. So then the owners, Entergy, they were eager to get out.
Okay. Because they were losing
They were
money.
losing money.
Wow.
This was not a good operation for them.
Yeah.
And so then the announcement was made that they were going to close in 2019. And at that point, seemingly out of nowhere, came Holtec.
Mm-hmm.
And they had never operated or run a power plant or decommissioned a power plant before, but they saw a huge economic opportunity. And so they bought the power plant to decommission it, and along with the Indian Point power plants in New York City, a power plant in New Jersey, and a power plant out in Michigan. And we thought, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Well, what they were doing is going to make a lot of money because they do not spend their money on decommissioning. Instead, when a power plant is built, there has to be a decommissioning trust fund established. And so Pilgrim had a fund that was put in place with ratepayer money at the beginning and then grew through investments about $1.3 million.
Now, who maintained that? Who invested in it? Was it the town?
No, not the town. The town
Okay.
didn't. These were ratepayers in the early 70s
Okay.
in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And then they had this money to spend. And the interesting part is the money that they don't spend, they pocket, which is an incentive
To not do well.
to spend
Right.
as little as possible.
Yeah.
But the real issue where they make money is on the on-site storage of spent fuel.
See, this is what I'm confused about.
Because the federal government has told all the licensees forever that the federal government, our tax money federally, will take care of the spent fuel for eons because it will be poisonous for well over 10,000 years into the future.
Oh, my.
And so they will take care of it, take it off site, move it to a deep geological repository, and that's that.
Okay,
However, let me just say
Okay.
this. However, there is no deep
That's what I was going to ask.
repository. And however, the federal government had told the licensee that we will have a deep geological repository by 1998. That was a contract. However, there was no federal repository. So therefore, any monies that is spent by Holtec or any owner of a plant since 1998 is reimbursed to the licensee. And so every year they figure they spend about $500,000 a year to babysit that spent fuel, which is off Rocky Hill Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
They keep it.
So they basically get so they get reimbursed for everything they do, and then they make money on top of that.
Yeah. So it is a very, very lucrative business.
And they had to obtain a license to do the decommissioning, right?
Oh, yeah. And the state entered a settlement agreement with Holtec, and we did get some important provisions. One, that the site would have to be cleaned up to a more conservative, safer standard than the federal government requires, which was great. Yeah. And there were quite a few others. But the settlement agreement was really a big effort for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And at the time, which is interesting, Mara Healy was the AG. And so she's done, a 180.
Yeah, that's like, I know, that's on page 3 of my notes.
You see, okay,
I've got to be,
I have to behave. Keep me directed.
Okay, all right, we'll do. I mean, we'll get to everything because I don't mind jumping around. I have ADHD. I don't mind. I'll jump around. So what happens in the process of decommissioning? What are they doing every day? Because I know there's people work there. And what do they actually do?
Well, the main thing they do is take down the buildings, do testing on the soil. Mm-hmm. If they find radionuclides above the accepted level, if they find PCBs or anything else, then they have to remove it.
Okay.
And so essentially that is what they do. There's a big issue. They haven't taken down the main reactor building. They've only taken down smaller peripheral buildings. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, they have to obviously test with Geiger counters, et cetera, to determine what they can do with those parts when they're taken down. However, in the main reactor building, they had a lot of contaminated water.
Oh.
A lot of contaminated water in the spent fuel pool and just water in other parts of the building that became contaminated. So what were they going to do with it?
Yeah.
They had a great idea. Dump it in the bay.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I'm scared of what you're going to tell me.
Dump it in the bay.
Please tell me they didn't do that.
No. That has not been done yet. However, we were parties to a suit brought in the special legal office of the Department of Environmental Protection. That went on for 2 years, and the good guys, including ourselves, won.
Thank God.
And however, in the particular structure of the legal world of the Department of Environmental Protection, once the judge makes a decision that we won, Holtec lost, then it has to go to the Commissioner of Environmental Affairs, Bonnie Heupel, to give an okay.
Okay.
The decision was made in the fall.
Yeah.
No word from Bonnie Heupel's office.
Still?
No word. Not a slam dunk. One wonders whether her boss's new love affair with nuclear power is playing a part.
Okay, so when was this happening?
We were in court in June.
This past June, a year ago.
Yep. And that took a lot of effort.
A couple of years, yeah.
A lot of effort.
I can imagine. And that was to stop
the dumping in the bay.
Which seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
totally a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because when you think the mere perception of radioactive contaminated water going into the bay is not going to be a selling point for oysters, for lobsters,
or tourism,
for fish, for tourism, for real estate.
Yeah.
Not a selling point.
No.
And even if they say, oh, it's so small,
Safe.
It will get diluted,
yeah,
it's the perception.
Yeah.
Number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, some of those things that would be released, they last a long time.
Yeah.
And we had Woods Hole, Oceanographic, et cetera, coming up to talk about it. But you thought that was a
The
good
end of it,
thing.
yeah.
However, what have they been doing? Evaporating it. Evaporating it 24/7, unfiltered at the release point.
Unfiltered.
Uh-huh.
So is this is that the
Hold
the
your
same?
breath.
I know. I don't know if I'm glad I did this now. I read,
And a whole group of us went in to the governor's office and spoke with her top staff. Please, this is a bad idea.
yeah.
Let's stop the evaporation. This is even worse than dumping in the bay
Yeah.
for the neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
And as a result, we aren't doing anything.
So right now it's still being evaporated.
Yeah, it's being evaporated.
And is there any assurance that the levels of whatever is being evaporated are quote unquote safe? Is there any measurement of what's going?
They have taken, being Holtec, is taking samples of that water.
Oh, that's nice.
They say it's fine.
But it's radioactive.
Some of us say, the National Academies of Sciences says there is no safe dose of radiation, and it is cumulative.
Right.
And it interacts with other toxins, each enhancing the mischief of the other.
Okay. Like a
So,
synergistic effect of bad chemicals. And
Not a
stuff.
good idea when you had a good option to spend a small portion of the decommissioning trust fund and shipping it to a site in Texas that accepts it. As a matter of fact, that is what Vermont Yankee did. They sent their contaminated water off-site, and as a result, they could move quickly through the decommissioning process. They started just a teeny bit sooner than we did in decommissioning, and they're just about finished.
Whereas it's going to take us till 2063?
No.
Something like that?
No. It's going to take take them until probably 2032 maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
But you see, they were saying, and the NRC went along in 2063, all the spent fuel would be off-site.
Okay.
Is there a radioactive waste ferry? Is Santa Claus going to take it?
Mm.
No, there's no site to take it
Well,
to.
that's what. So
it's ludicrous.
So the water, the contaminated water, in Vermont went to Texas, and there's a site in Texas that will accept it. It's not a deep geological depository.
No, this isn't
rods.
spent fuel.
Right. Okay.
This is what is called low-level radioactive waste.
Okay.
High-level, this is how it's, I'd say, games with words.
Mm-hmm.
High-level waste technically is defined by the regulator as spent fuel.
Okay.
Okay, that's high-level.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is low-level, which is all the other stuff. It can still have plutonium in it. It can still have cesium and strontium, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a greater than Class C, but that's getting too technical.
Thank you.
But no, there's a site out there. But Holtec also was hoping to be able to develop an interim spent fuel storage site. That would be another side business.
On the property?
No.
Oh, somewhere else?
In New Mexico.
Okay.
No, actually, it was in New Mexico, right on the border of Texas. However, the governor of New Mexico, Attorney General of New Mexico, the oil business in New Mexico, all said, no, thank you. In fact, we're going to court.
to stop them from
Yeah,
going there.
stop them to do it.
So
Yeah, see, the issue is, who wants that stuff in their
in their
state?
backyard, yeah, in their
Who?
state, yeah. But when the reactor was first built, it was just thought that magically somewhere there would be built these deep geologic repositories to store them.
They were going to have two. One west of the Mississippi, that was the thought, and the other east.
Mhm.
New Hampshire was looked at as a good possibility because of the granite,
Mhm.
and they said no, thank you.
Shocking. Yeah.
Shocking.
Shocking.
I think we'll have skiing instead.
We're doing all right with our skiing tourism and the hiking in the mountains. Oh, boy.
Okay, we're staying.
Okay.
We're going to get focused again.
Yeah.
What are we going to get focused?
Going back to the water, to the contaminated water, if Holtec is going to get reimbursed for cleaning it up and decommissioning, why don't they send the water to Texas?
I don't know why. I think, however, the real reason is that they didn't want to set a precedent that they own the Indian Point, New York reactors. And so then Indian Point would be saying, me too.
Mm-hmm.
We want our water out of here ASAP. New Jersey at Oyster Creek, another one they own.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Because they want to.
And Michigan, Palisades. Need 3.
So because they wanted to maybe have their own side business with doing this. They didn't want to have to do that same thing on the other sites.
Yeah, and they thought they had a good plan.
Yeah.
Dump it in Cape Cod Bay.
Until you guys, Pilgrim Watch came along.
Well, and then we formed there was a group that formed, Save Our Bay, which is still
in action.
In action. And Pilgrim Watch, Cape Down Winders, one of the main environmental groups on Cape Cod, and some other groups from Boston. And so we had a coalition, which is the way you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
to have people power, if you will.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And some focused on demonstrations, some folks focused on handing out flyers,
Mm-hmm.
others going to the State House and talking to legislators, and others reading law books and
Mm-hmm.
writing motions
Mm-hmm.
and
Sounds-
driving themselves crazy.
Yeah.
We were actually, Pilgrim Watch focuses more on gathering factual information or litigation or something like that.
Well, thank
Where Cape Down Winders, they're just crackerjacks at activism. They do it, and they do other stuff too.
you. Yeah.
But they are terrific at that.
Wow. This is all sounding so
They
familiar.
have gotten every town on Cape Cod to sign on to no dumping in the bay or what have you.
Yeah.
And Martha's Vineyard, and so they're great.
Wow. Yeah. That's.
And then there are actually always two sides to it, to going after these issues.
Mm-hmm.
One side are the boring ones with glasses on most of the time at the computer. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are,
the glamorous side.
the activist side.
Yeah. With the signs.
Yeah.
And the megaphones.
And having a lot more fun.
Yeah. The protests are kind of fun.
But there is also a nuclear decommissioning citizens panel, which was formed by the state to oversee or at least meet at least 4 times a year to hear from the licensee, Holtec, what they're doing, et cetera. And I'm a panel member. My husband's a panel member. And some of the state people are panel members. Holtec has 2 members on. And, for example, there's a meeting this coming Monday. I feel, regrettably, they really aren't getting a lot done. And the reason is the structure doesn't allow votes to pass if it's regarding issues of public health and safety.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense if people don't know enough about science and anatomy and physiology and public health and
Well,
community
no,
health.
there are too many. There are 2 representatives, Holtec. They are not interested in having one of the meetings deal with health impacts from decommissioning operations and what have you. They aren't interested in that. I understand it. Mm-hmm. I think because of politics, the state representatives, they aren't directed to vote positively on issues like that. So they pass, which is counted as a no. And so like this coming Monday, I'm going to make a motion to do a session on health impacts from proximity to Pilgrim.
With updated information.
And I have 3 top experts with CVs longer than this table who are willing to come. That Petros Koutrakis from Harvard School of Public Health, who did the recent study, he said yes, he would come. Marco Kaltofen, who has done studies from analyzing soil and dust in houses to show what radionuclides happen to be in the neighborhood that are from Pilgrim. Okay. Then you had Dr. Clapp, founder, director of Mass Cancer Registry, who did all the initial health research since they opened.
Wow.
And, I mean, these are top-notch people.
Right. Very, very well credentialed.
So I will make that motion,
and what do you think
don't hold your breath.
So you won't even get to present it.
Well, no, the chair has said that on any motion will require the vote by the entire panel on whether to move forward on it. Mm-hmm. That would require 11 votes. We'll see. Maybe my personality is going to win the day.
I'm finding you're charming, so it can't hurt. Oh, boy.
Okay, so where are we?
So we are at just moving forward with the decommissioning. And I know that years and years ago, when they were cited for safety issues, and they retrofitted the power plant so that they'd be able to evaporate some of the, I don't even remember, was it radiation or was it some of the helium? So that at least if it did ever explode or anything, some of it will have already evaporated. But what you're talking about is letting the wastewater, which has radiation.
Yeah, water evaporates,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It naturally evaporates.
Yeah.
And then also they put heaters in, which helped make the building warm for workers, but it also accelerated the evaporation, process. Which was, and so every meeting of this nuclear decommissioning panel entails the VP, now VP, David Noyes of Holtec, giving a report. And he also always reports how much water is left. Mm-hmm. And then you subtract that from the month before, and you know how much water was evaporated.
Yeah.
And so they now have 800 and something million gallons to go.
Oh. That's still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a good idea.
It doesn't...
And what gets me, it's unnecessary.
Because it could go to Texas.
Yeah, it could go to Texas. It could have gone a long time back. Mm-hmm. And then they could have moved more expeditiously to take down the buildings and get on with the job. Mm-hmm. And it seemed counterproductive economically to them because the faster they do, every day that the workers are there is costing them money.
Because it eats up whatever's going to be left over.
Yes, exactly.
Which is their profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it didn't make any economic sense either.
No, yeah.
But anyway, that's what happened, and it's not going to change. And the main problem, certainly I think most people's minds, is the spent fuel that is stored on site in casks that are vulnerable to a terrorist attack.
The casks are made of concrete?
There's a concrete overpack, and it's a stainless steel interior capsule, if you will, with 68 spent fuel assemblies in each capsule. If, in fact, and we did, when my husband was chair of this decommissioning panel, he was the previous chair, we did have Dr. Gordon Thompson, who is a international expert in spent fuel, come and speak to us and show how it can be attacked, and certainly drones up the ante, by weapons that you can get on the internet. And if you drive down Rocky Hill Road, you can see them. You could throw a ball at them.
Wow.
Again, unnecessary. In Switzerland, for example, we were out invited to a conference in Colorado this year. And there was someone from Switzerland who described how they store fuel.
What do they do?
In a concrete reinforced building. They have it's all temperature controlled, it's all monitored, etc. And they have what's called a hot cell, the capability to be able to fix a canister that is cracked. Mm-hmm. We do not have hot cells in the United States. If they are cracked, at present they cannot be fixed.
Okay, but
so that is, I mean, it's really serious. And the conferences that my husband and I have been invited to attend in parts of the country have really they've been sponsored by the Department of Energy to try to come up ways. How are we going to convince some community to make a deep geological repository, because this is bad news?
Oh,
and
yeah.
we keep on saying also, why not use some of the money to get working on hot cells so they can be on each site? This makes no sense. A lot of things don't make sense, but that's the major, major problem for this community and state, is the spent fuel being orphaned, having no place to go. And therefore, Governor Healy, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Adding more.
Okay, before we get to our SMRs, the NRC must do inspections of those 68 rods, right? Or of the casks that hold those rods. They must do inspections to make sure they're not cracked and things like that, right?
The rule is that one of the 62 will be inspected every 5 years.
One
One.
of 62 every 5 years.
I believe it's 5 years. Is it 3? I think it's 5.
I think I read 5 too.
I think it's
also.
5.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's problematic.
What? How did you come up with that percent?
That's worse than a spot check. I mean, that's...
Yeah, but then Alltech has an employee whose job is to walk around the cast every day and to check the outlet to assure that it's not plugged with ice or a bird's nest or God knows what, because it's necessary for coolant, because the interior capsule holding the assemblies gets very hot. And so you have an air outlet, goes out the top, chimney effect, to keep it cool.
Cool. Okay.
And so they want to be sure. And then also they have radiation monitors around the property. And so if it spikes and remains elevated, then they would go around to see who's leaking.
I years and years ago, I was a teacher in Plymouth, and I remember we went to some meeting. It wasn't Holtec. It was still going. It was
Entergy then.
Okay, so Entergy, some folks came, and they were telling us teachers, we have a plan. If there was a serious, I forget what they categorize or how they say what it is, but if something bad happens, we're gonna call all our bus drivers and have them come in and pick up the kids and bring them to Taunton. And I'm going, how is that going to work? The bus driver is going to be off at the beach or wherever, whatever they do, or at their other part-time job during middle of the day. What if they can't reach all the bus drivers?
Or maybe the bus drivers are going to say,
I'm not doing that.
Kidding me?
Yep.
I worked on emergency planning since it was required in 89 or 90, right after TMI, because there were no emergency required plans at the time. And worked on it with a committee in Duxbury to analyze, to lift up the roof and see what the story was. Mm-hmm. And so we contacted the bus drivers, the companies, and I said, have you signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the state? I don't think so. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What would be your timing? And at the same time, what about the parents? Initially it was, the parents can't come.
Right.
Oh, yeah?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And the teachers we were supposed to stay with our classroom until every last kid was picked up by this imaginary fictional bus that was going to pick them up. Yeah. And the parents.
Or even the bus. Hopefully someone comes. It's not only for the kids, but also for people who are handicapped, for nursing homes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, huge.
And so the question was, where are you going and how are you going to get there? For Duxbury, for example, we're going up Route 3. Mm-hmm. Have you gone to Boston lately? And we were then going to Braintree High School, which meant crossing traffic where the Southeast Expressway comes in to Route 3, to 128.
Yeah.
We said, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I can remember a meeting in Duxbury where one woman said, can't we go to Chestnut Hill Mall? At least we can get some clothes.
Yeah. Not as much
and then
traffic.
Somebody else said, what? We're supposedly at the reception center going to be tested for radiation. If they spot some, then we take a shower. And then this woman said, well, who's bringing the towels?
Exactly. All those little logistical things.
And clothes, we can't keep our clothes because they're contaminated.
Yeah.
So I hope it's going to be a beach towel because I'm a big woman. And I can remember the woman saying that and thinking, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
This is a paper fantasy plan.
Yep.
You need some plan.
Yep.
That's for sure. But with these SMRs, no plan.
So that's what I want to talk about next.
No plan is required.
What's an SMR?
Small modular reactor, affectionately known as a cute nuke.
Nuke. That is kind of cute. There's a lot of hubbub around this right now in Plymouth.
Right. With the election coming up.
The election coming up, yep. And we have half the stakeholders all gung-ho for SMRs, a way to make money for the town. And we have other ones that say, no, we can't do that. It's not safe. And then, well, this is the future anyway. It's clean energy, so it's money, it's safety, it's politics.
It's having drunk the Kool-Aid.
It's having drunk the Kool-Aid. What are the safety issues, if there are any? And is there a balance between the safety issues and the money? And is there a way forward using a clean energy source such as nuclear power? Is there a balance between all of that at all?
No.
Okay.
And why do I say that? Number one, our president issued orders to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, orders to make nuclear a prime source of energy in the country.
Okay.
And to make it far cheaper at the cost of safety. Mm-hmm. So some of the orders are as follows: to allow far more radiation released than currently is released.
Because
So
he
if
scales
you
back
get-
on radiation. I mean, on regulations.
Yeah, but he's requiring making regulations, which will be much harder to get rid of after Trump leaves office.
Because they're already going to be set in
The- yeah,
stone. People
yeah.
are making money.
Yeah. So anyway, more radiation. If we have reactors built here in Plymouth, they will be allowed. It's going to pass.
No.
More radiation as opposed to what it should be, less, because we understand that radiation is far more dangerous than previously thought, especially to children and women.
Thank you, Marie Curie. By
Yeah.
The way.
So that's number one. Number two, get rid of the requirement for robust containments. Number three, reduce the number of personnel required on site for the company to keep tabs on safety and reduce security personnel. At a time when the threat of security issues has certainly increased, not decreased, and other departments in the government expected to increase much more.
Mm-hmm.
Other aspects were to cut dramatically back on the NRC staff, and when the former chair, Hansen, started to make faces and grumble, well, he was fired. and so
By the president?
yeah.
So this is way up at the top.
We're talking the top.
Mm.
And these are directives for the NRC. And they keep on going, not requiring a site-specific environmental assessment, an EIS.
Oh, my.
Nope. And it goes on. And so this is what Plymouth will be faced with. So when you talk about it being safer, we are in a environment where, from the president and its directive to essentially hand-picked regulator, that these directives are going to be put in place, which will impact safety for a long period of time.
In favor
That's not
of the moneymakers.
Yeah. And also to put them on the fast track that an approval of an application for a license for an SMR or a large reactor must be done in 18 months, where typically it took far longer, and problems were seen that improve safety in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is one problem of safety. Another problem is it takes typically a fairly long time, and it's far more expensive to develop energy through nuclear power than through wind, sun, renewables. Battery storage is improving, etc. And so if we're in a hurry, as we should be, to direct and attack climate change,
Mm-hmm.
it would make more sense and more doable to do that with renewable energy because they go online far faster, they are far cheaper, and also they are more flexible.
Mm.
You know, when you get a mixture as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to a dependent on a lot of nuclear, which, as we talked about, is negatively impacted by climate change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And much safer.
Yeah. And you know what? I would not lose a second of sleep worrying about a terrorist attacking a wind turbine.
Right. Or a bunch of solar panels.
Yeah.
In the
I'm not
this
going to
whole tech could
worry
have
about that. But you should worry about a terrorist attacking a nuclear reactor because we've seen from TMI, from Chernobyl, from Fukushima, the long-term, widespread devastation from a serious nuclear accident. And this thought that these reactors will be safe, where did that come from? There is no track record. There is no Holtec SMR 300 licensed yet or built.
Yeah.
So I think,
But we do have documented cases where they weren't safe.
yeah. Well, when I hear the governor say they're safe, say based on what? A pretty picture? A diagram that Holtec drew?
Themselves.
Is that the basis you're saying? Is for safety? It hasn't been built. Are you going to buy and spend a lot of money on a car from the picture of a design if you haven't seen what it does actually over a couple of years on the road?
And reading Consumer Reports.
Yeah. Why?
Doing your research.
Yeah. So why should Plymouth be a guinea pig?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It is a good question. In my head, I'm just hearing, I mean, I have a lot of family who are conservative, and they're always saying, well, I don't want to be the guinea pig for this or the guinea pig for that. Well, this is quite a...
Yeah, and so then you add the fact of health.
Yeah.
You know, what, wind from a wind farm, that's going to hurt you? No. Radiation, we already have seen from the cancer registry the impact around nuclear reactors.
I see why you're saying it's going to pass, because there's so much money. There's so much money involved for incentive.
But then again, for Plymouth, there are a lot of things that could be done with that land.
Yeah.
A lot of
We've
things.
got about 2 minutes left. I want to let you talk about H.4144 really quickly, what the status is. And then will you come on again?
Oh, sure.
Because we have so much more to talk about. So much more.
Okay. After TMI, 3 Mile Island, the accident, California, as usual, was the first. They thought, we don't want TMI here. So therefore, legislation was passed that there could be no nuclear reactors built unless certain conditions were met. That being a statewide vote, a vote in the legislature, that being there'd be emergency planning, that being monitoring, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Then Massachusetts, I worked on that way back when.
To make sure we'd have plenty of hoops to jump through to make this happen.
Passed the same thing.
Okay.
And obviously, when Maura Healey decided, I should say Governor Healey, decided that she wanted nuclear reactors, that required getting rid of that bill.
So she repealed
and
it.
So that's what happened. It's now in committee, and we'll see what happens.
And that would mean that more nuclear reactors could be built here.
Yeah,
and
you wouldn't have to have the
SMRs.
vote. You wouldn't have to do this and that. Our testimony added another. I didn't focus so much on the statewide vote. I thought what maybe should be done is having a restriction that there could be no state subsidies for the building or operation of a nuclear reactor. Because quite clearly, for SMRs, for larger reactors, you're going to be paying for it on your electric bill. And so to say this is cheap, it's cheap for the owner of the reactor.
Okay.
But the reality is, when you look at your electric bill every month, you see distribution charges for gas, let's say for gas, fixing leaking pipes, this and that goes on everybody's bill. For nuclear reactors, that goes on everybody's bill.
Like we talked about at the beginning of the hour here, where it requires off-site electricity, off-site power to keep it cool and safe and keep it running. So we would be paying for it that way.
Well, what it costs, what makes it economical is if you can shift the costs away from the owner on to the public.
This is so fun. I've never been more depressed in my life.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
is there any hope?
Well,
give me something.
It depends. If you want to be a real cynic, what is required is a serious accident in the United States. And you can say, please, dear God, not here.
Yeah.
But, of course, everybody says that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds like a real negative thing, but everybody thought, including chairman of the NRC, Greg Yasko, who also was booted, his thinking after Fukushima was, we are going to develop more serious safety regulations, which he tried to do unsuccessfully. And he lost his job. And none of those safety regulations were passed.
Right.
And so, I mean, and one thought after Chernobyl, one thought after TMI. After TMI, the Kemeny Commission from the government said every household within 20 miles should have potassium iodide, all the schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It took until Duxbury in 2000 bought our own and established a protocol.
Yeah.
Then the government finally followed suit and said, oh, yes, the federal government will provide potassium iodide if a state requests it. And the state of Massachusetts requested it, but did not do anything in promotion.
Okay.
So good news, you don't need your potassium iodide now.
Why?
Because they're not releasing iodine, because they're not operating. So you see, there's something good.
Oh, yay. Well, thank you. I asked
But
you to give
don't
me
throw
something.
it away.
Okay.
Because you might drive by Seabrook.
Okay.
You might drive by the millstones in Connecticut. Or the people in Plymouth might decide it would be a good idea to have more reactors here.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep it. I won't throw it away. Mary Lampert, thank you so much for educating me, coming in and shedding some light on this. It's a very technical issue, and all the information you sent me was, very overwhelming. But I thank you for, dumbing it down for me a little bit and just make it a little digestible. I really appreciate it, and I would love for you to come back again. Our listeners can find out more about all of this on pilgrimwatch.org, the website for Pilgrim Watch. You can find out more about Indivisible Plymouth at our website or on Facebook. Search Indivisible Plymouth. I want to give a shout out to the local scene again for helping us with making an awesome podcast. And I will be in touch with you so quickly, Mary, to book another episode with you. I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, listen, I appreciate it. And we could just have a chat, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Down for that, too. Thank you.